Hello everyone, my name is Kay Kim from the Traders Club. Thank you for tuning in. I do want to do a market commentary today on the market. We'll look at S&P 500 index, maybe for some time we'll look at some other indices, and also I do want to look at Apple because we're getting into the dire situation here. So the question is, the market has been coming down hard. We're seeing a lot of sellers here in the market. Let's go to daily chart and look at it first. You can see that we were forming some kind of a falling, descending, declining channel type of deal, and then we just fell through. And look at the way it fell. It just came down, boom, 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 right? So we're seeing a lot of fear here. This really resembles what we've seen right about here. So the question is, is this market ready to crash, right? Is this head and shoulder formation gonna play out? That's a question. And a lot of times the head and shoulder formation isn't really head and shoulder formation until it's confirmed. So that's something we have to understand, is that the head and shoulder does not always play out. When it does play out, what we need to understand is it doesn't go straight down. And what it likes to do a lot of times is that's what I call initial confirmation. So this is a level that you want to watch right about here. This thing comes down, and then this is what I call initial confirmation. And then if this thing gets up and gets rejected here and then roll over, that's when the true power of head and shoulder commences, right? True power of head and shoulder pattern. So this is here, looking at the 2007, 2008 crash. You can see there's a neckline right here, left shoulder here, head right there, right shoulder there. This is right here, initial confirmation. But keep in mind, this is a weekly chart, so we hung around here. We hung around here for a couple months, maybe 2-3 months, but then what did it do? We bounced back up, and then we retested at this level, and then we crashed. Remember what I said? When it retests the neckline, when it gets rejected from that neckline, true power of the head and shoulder pattern commences, and that's exactly what it did. So, but sometimes what it does is, sometimes what it can happen is sometimes it forms head and shoulder pattern or formation. Let me get rid of some of these moving averages because it's really irritating here. Let's see. I'll just put the 200 SMA because I'm going to talk about it later. But you can see we got this here. Let's just make it more realistic. Sometimes what they do, it will fake you out. We got left shoulder here, right head there, maybe a right shoulder, right? And then it looks like we have possibly that confirmation there. Actually, it looks much more realistic if you go to daily chart. And you'd be like, well, okay, why are we looking at what happened in the past? Can we talk about what happened today? Well, what happens in the past reflects on what potentially could happen today. So we want to kind of understand the psychology fact or psychology perspective of what's happening right now. Okay, so what we want to see here, you can see you've got a left shoulder here, right? Can you agree with that? That's a head. And then that's potentially a right shoulder. What happened was we actually confirmed. We had an initial confirmation. That's what I call initial confirmation. Because initial confirmation is not enough. What do we need? A full confirmation. What is a full confirmation? Full confirmation is basically it comes back up to certain resistance or pivot level and gets rejected there. So we can see that we got a left shoulder there, head there, right shoulder there, right? And then this is a neckline. That's what we call a neckline, right? And we had an initial confirmation. This was back in 2010 of June. So obviously left, head, right, head and shoulder pattern. That's a formation. And you can understand it. How many people do you think over there thinking that, oh my God, this thing is gonna crash? We're gonna have a same crash like we've seen 2008, 2008, and this thing's gonna do nothing, right? But initial confirmation, now remember what we just talked about here. Initial confirmation, we need a full confirmation. This is initial confirmation. We come down, we go back up, retest this level as new resistance, gets rejected. Interesting to note that that's a 200 SMA right there. We hit the 200 SMA, which coinciding with that, neckline area gets rejected. And that's when the true power of head and shoulders pattern commences, right? So then that's when the crashes began. And here what happened was, well, this is a neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder there. We had initial confirmation, but we never had that rejection. It looked like this might have been the rejection because there was that 200 SMA. Do you see that pink moving average there? And then we pull back but it didn't make lower low. We stopped short, create a higher high right there, and then we reverse back up. Another scenario. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Neckline. Initial confirmation, but what does the market do? Oh my god, it's going to go back up and retest that neckline as what? New resistance. Isn't that interesting? We're back at that 200 SMA again, right? 200 SMA again. Remember we just talked about it. It was a 200 SMA. And then this is where this is going to get rejected. And what we just talked about in 2008 and 2009, true power of head and shoulder commences. It gets rejected. But what did it do? It did not make lower low. What did it do? It stopped short and create a higher low. You see that low, higher low, that's a low, and that's a higher low. And then we create another higher low, and we got above the neckline, went up, came down a little bit short, and then where did it came down to? 200 SMA. That's a 200-day moving average. A 200-day simple moving averages. And then what did market do? Bounce. Come back down 200 simple bones, bounce again. And we came out of this mess. Okay? Let's go today. All right, so let's go today. We have this huge, huge head and shoulder formation. Okay? We fizzle around with that 200 SMA. You can call it a rejection, but where's the neckline of this big head and shoulders? Well, the neckline is down here. Okay, this pattern is so big that we have to look at a weekly chart to make any sense of it, right? So let's go to weekly chart. This is a neckline. This is a left shoulder. Can you agree with that? Yes. This is head. This is right shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. 1, 2, 3, right? This is a neckline, right? Where are we? Here. Should we start freaking out? No, there is fear, definitely. There definitely fear. What I remember what we just talked about, right? Neckline, neckline, head left, head right shoulder. Initial confirmation, go up, rejection, bang. But what did it do? It made a lower low, lower low, lower high. Here, lower high, but it did not make lower low. What did it do? Made a higher low. And what happened? Market reversed. So here's what we're looking at. Don't start assuming here that the market is going to crash. Don't start assuming that's what's going to happen, because people probably thought, again, we're looking at the weekly chart here, well, this was just some massive head and shoulder right here. Do you think some people thought about that? Right there. Right here. Now that looks more realistic. Right there. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. Some huge head and shoulder. Yeah, but it never confirmed. We didn't even have initial confirmation. So what happened? We came down to this level and reversed it. And am I saying that that's what's going to happen? No, I don't. Nobody knows what's going to happen down the road. Nobody does. But looking at the chart, this is why technical analysis can be so valuable at this point, because the neckline is in this vicinity here. We haven't even broken a neckline. So this is how you're gonna observe the crash, and this is how you're gonna look at it. If this thing gets initial confirmation, probably come back down to this 200 SMA on this weekly chart. We probably bounces, and then we probably go back to the neckline, and then we serve this neckline as old support, new resistance. If we get rejected here and creates a lower low, this market is gonna crash. And that process could take up to 3 to 5 months. So right now it's too early to say the market is going to crash. If anybody's saying that, they're just guessing. Nobody knows for sure. What is a possibility here? Possibility that we could, confirm the head and shoulders. But can we all agree with that this is a bearish downtrend? Yeah, we got there, there, there. And what is that? Lower highs. This is a low. What is this right here? A potentially be a higher low if, but only if we bounce from here. Only if. So we have to see if we want to bounce or not. Because if this thing would have continued to lower though, if we to continue lower on this S&P 500 back in November 2011, that would have been bad. Like market would have been getting, commenced, it probably commenced this downtrend, bearish downtrend, right? But it didn't, and then reversed from it. Today, can we all agree with that? That's bearish downtrend, at least in resistance. Yes, that's the resistance, bearish. But are we still in the vicinity of higher low? I don't know. Again, I just used that example of 2011. I don't know if you want to bounce. I do not know. Nobody does. You don't know. I don't know. Any fund mandate? No, nobody does. No. They can kind of come up with certain forecasts or certain prediction, but nobody has a crystal ball. You mean, you get that, right? So, next week, if we bounce from here, and I don't know if it's going to, can this be served as high or low? Can this be kind of like something like this? Yeah. Yeah. And then once we take out the resistance right here, can we say the market has been reversed? Yeah, because what? It went up, came down, but it went hit a higher low, and that's awesome, right? Low, low, but it is our higher lows. Higher, higher, higher. Again, we're talking big picture. We're talking probably, I'm not talking about next few days. I'm talking more of a big picture. We're looking at weekly chart here. I just want to give you a certain perspective before we're just starting like just going crazy and just panicking here. But what is another scenario? Another scenario might be the neckline gets broken. We continue lower, possibly come back down to 200 SMA, and we bounce and gets rejected. And then what? A commencement, inauguration of bear market. Maybe a crash similar to 2008 or 9, 8 and 9, because that's exactly what happened, right? Right there, right? Boom, boom. So which is it? Well, what's gonna happen, Kay? Are we going to come down and do this, or are we going to do this? Or are we going to do that? Which one? Well, just tell us, Kay. Just tell us which one's going to happen. I don't know. And nobody does. So before reacting to it, or before panicking, or before being fearful, or before being too optimistic or greedy, why don't we just wait and let the market tell us what it's going to do? Right? Let's go to Apple here. Let's look at a weekly chart. It is now starting to look very, very dire situation on the market. Starting to look bad on Apple here, and we have left shoulder, head here, and right shoulder. And I want to be honest with you guys. I really thought that because the way it formed head and shoulders, just the way it stayed here so long, that I didn't think that Apple was going to form head and shoulder this way. Currently, you could say that maybe Apple is not fully confirmed. I'm not sure. I mean, this is very, very difficult to say that that's where's the neckline is going to be. I think, maybe neckline is here, or is it here? And we have this. So things got a little bit more complicated on Apple. And I guess the last level we're looking is this level, because that was a level we started seeing buyers. So technically, head and shoulders not fully confirmed. So the question is, looked at S&P 500 here, or just earlier. The question is, are we going to confirm this head and shoulders? Are we going to break this support? And then we're going to do something like that. And then boom, what's going to happen then? Resistance. Look at this, perfect. Resistance, resistance, resistance. And we're going to, it could be 70 all the way to 50. And also, I think though we have kind of a major prime time support potentially be coming right about here. So safe to say, the next support will be like 85 or so. If we lose that, then we'll be like 60, something like that. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, question is this. Again, I used the example of S&P 500 that I just did for you guys. Are we going to do this, this, this? Or are we going to do this, this, and this? And you say, well, okay, just tell us. Well, I don't know. So what I'm trying to do in this video is that before you coming to a conclusion that Apple is going to crash S&P 500, it may well be. I'm not. This video is not me saying that it's not going to crash or it's gonna. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just simply giving you potential scenario of the market and what to look forward to. So we're getting into the last level. Looking at S&P 500, looking at Apple. This is the last level. I know Apple the earnings coming up soon here. I think in a week or 2 weeks, right? In 2 weeks. We've got a good, very, very high, very, very strong, bullish reaction on earnings that could possibly do it. But I think that the Head and Shoulders everybody's talking about I may not be fully confirmed. But if it does confirm, I think things could get very, very ugly in Apple. Because think about it, this is a much bigger Head and Shoulders. It took nearly a year to form. This thing right here took 1 year to form. Okay, so because of that, I think the process of this confirming is going to take its time. And I just think that 95 to 90 is that band of support of the neckline that we talked about, and that's the level you want to watch. And I thought I'd just give you guys that, and then and see what happens. And also let you guys know that this Wednesday, I had a plan to do a live midweek update. I found out they have a meeting there that day. So I'll have to cancel that, but I was trying to post a market commentary video either that day or next day or something like that, or maybe next weekend, and maybe follow up on this video, all right? So have a great night. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll talk to you guys next time.